Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday by the time you're looking at this. My name is Arnie Thompson, Executive Director for Friends Homes. And again, I'm meeting with you virtually, which I'm still looking forward to today that we all can be together and as one big happy family in one big open space. Fingers crossed for Governor Cooper's phase 3 reopening. We'll find out more next week. But I do want to get you up to date on some things that have been going on at Friends Homes. And as we prepare for the next couple of weeks, what's kind of lies ahead. So I want to start first with a COVID-19 update. You should have all received my letter that went out last Friday. That letter kind of stipulated what's been going on over really the last 2 or 3 months as far as cases. I believe it showed that we've had 19 COVID-19 cases between both campuses. Don and Missy have been doing a great job making you aware when we have a case that's been reported, as well as what we're doing as it relates to quarantine and additional testing. So as of last Friday, we had 19. You did note, I think we had someone on July 30th that was symptomatic that made us aware that they tested positive. And from that, we're doing what's called contact tracing. And we look back, I believe it's 72 hours, maybe it's 48, but 72 hours where we look and to see who that person came in contact with, whether they were within 6 feet, whether they were not wearing proper PPE, face covering, things like that, and were they with this person for an extended period of time. So the person that tested positive that we were made aware of, I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday, we did contact tracing. We then did additional testing for everyone this person came in contact with, meeting those requirements I shared with you. We did get those results back. I believe we got them back, I think today. Maybe it was late last night. I can't remember, but it might have been today. They did come back positive, and that was for West. We did have one positive. The rest were negative. And Donna will be sending a letter out later today. It was an employee who was asymptomatic, and they are currently under quarantine. So probably the biggest takeaway from that letter, other than we'll continue to let you know when we have COVID-19 cases, is that the way the state requires the reporting, we have to go a full 28 days without a positive test result before they will consider us to be COVID-free. And as I said in my letter, with 630 residents and 430 employees, it's going to be a small miracle to go a full month where we don't have someone to test positive for COVID. It can happen, but it's highly unlikely. Now, I tell you that because although our healthcare center, the governor within the last week has delayed visitation to any healthcare center for another 60 days, but you have to at least be 28 days COVID-free before you can even consider having visitation. Now, when Governor Cooper talks to us next week, if he does decide to go into phase 3, we're already working on plans for allowing visitation. It will not happen the day he goes to phase 3. We still want to be very planned on how we open up for visitation, and it will be very structured. So as well as even dining, even for our fitness, if they allow us to start opening our fitness center, we will continue to make sure that we do it in a very careful, safe way, because until, again, we get a vaccine and people start actually taking the vaccine, we have a lot of, we just need to be very cautious, So more to come on that. But with the positive test result that just came back today for the West resident, we're now a total of 20 cases that have occurred between both campuses since I think our first case was reported back in May. Again, good news is that most of the 20 that we found out about was through our testing, and they were asymptomatic, which again just reminds us wearing our masks is very important. We have not seen a spread between people for the most part, so continue to be very diligent. Only go out when you need to go out. Continue to wash your hands. Be very careful on who you're socializing with. As I was telling a resident today, you're only as safe as the last person you dealt with. So we've come a long way, and until we get the vaccine, let's continue to be diligent and be cautious and careful. So that's COVID-19. Now I'd like to go to phase one. I want to share some renderings. We are working with a company in Greensboro to get these on poster boards. It's been somewhat delayed, like most things. But once we get those, we'll put those up in public areas so that you can look at it. So I am going to try to share my screen, and I am going to first show you a rendering, visual rendering of both the West and Guilford campus, and to show you again just how close we are overall. Hopefully you may have seen this if you were able to see the groundbreaking last Friday. I think this might have been one of the, we saw some drone footage, but right here, what I'd like to point out is let's see, it says I can write, so I'm gonna try this. So this right here is our existing West campus. This right here is what we'll be building with phase one on the West campus. These are our villa apartments. These are our cottages and townhomes, and this is our existing pond. And of course, you'll have the road connector with the bridge that will take us to a security gate. This is Woodbrook. You would turn right on Woodbrook and turn left on Ridgecrest. And all of this is Friends Homes Guilford property. So you can see how close these two campuses are. So we're very excited about getting this bridge connector and opening up both our campuses so that we can start utilizing the various amenities that we have at both sites. All right, so the next one that I would like to show you is a picture of our West campus again. This is a rendering of the farm property. This right here are the 3 villa apartments, 18 units at each one, under building parking. This road right here, so this is the pond, the gazebo, the original gazebo is right here. You'll see we'll be doing a new gazebo. But this right here is the path we'll be taking, which is now going to be a road that will take us to the bridge. Over here is going to be our cottages and townhomes. So this is a rendering of the 3 villa apartments, kind of a bird's eye view, if you will. The next one I'd like to show you is a rendering of what one of the villa apartments would look like. So this is a picture of the inside of one of the villa apartments that we will be selling. And it is square footage is anywhere from 14 or 1,500 all the way up to 1,900. 2-bedroom. I think there might be a 3-bedroom. I know I should know that. We have views out of multiple corners, if you will. Everybody's got a corner unit with a nice porch. So this is a picture of the kitchen and a very open concept. So this is one of the villa apartments. The next one that I'd like to show you is the back of our West property, where the courtyard is. I might have shown this one to you before, or I might have thought I did, and it didn't actually come through. So this is, again, so this would be our bistro. And this is where the Rose Garden used to be, and this right here is the 1000 building. And so the courtyard, we're hopefully are trying to make it where it's more engaging, so we have various seating areas. We've got this nice little water feature, whether that actually makes it or not. They did guarantee us that the grass will be this green. I'm just kidding if you did not know that. We have some seating outside for the bistro. Of course, you have your pool. So we're really looking forward to engaging this courtyard and working on some of the drainage issues that we currently have back there at this time. Now, I don't know, but I'm going to try. This one is a picture. When it comes up, this was a picture of our Ridgecrest. And if you're coming down Ridgecrest, coming from, let's see if I can do this. Coming from Arcadia, down Ridgecrest, and this is coming our main entrance here. So these are the new townhomes that we're looking at building, and this will be our new entrance coming in right beyond the Arcadia house. As you turn on Ridgecrest, you go right past Arcadia house, right beyond where the construction trailer is now. That's going to be our new interest coming into our Guilford campus. So looking forward to that being up, hopefully within the next year. I had two more pictures that I am not seeing, and I am not going to take any chances that I cut myself off. So I will get out of that. So I'm very excited about getting those on poster boards so that you can see that. And hopefully, I think the last time I talked to you, I thought I was going to have them 2 or 3 weeks, but they're still telling me 2 or 3 weeks. So your guess is as good as mine. Want to share with you some updates on some construction scheduling. So here on the West Campus, the pool is scheduled to be torn down. I think it's the week of the 17th. They're doing some silt fencing to control stormwater, some runoff from construction. You'll see that. The gate has been put up to control traffic coming as you turn in, going to the left. You can no longer do that. Everybody needs to turn right. The barn and the Coble house, we have been talking about this for some time, and we are now looking probably the first part of September is when both of those structures will be coming down. And so, again, I'm sorry for that. It is not from the lack and effort of trying to find someone to take it. I will tell you that we did work with a salvage company that came in and really took a lot of stuff from inside the Coble house and also inside the barn. And it's my understanding that the company that's going to be raising the barn is going to try to, there's not a lot of good wood left on the barn, but it's going to try to salvage where possible so that it can be repurposed. So probably the barn, Coble house, probably the first part of September. Fencing, as I was telling, the fencing on the West Campus is up to control some traffic flow, but they're going to be adding fencing probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks. As you come into the campus, you turn right. Fencing is going to go along the farmland. It's going to follow the road. Right now, where there's some benches to sit that overlook the pond, fencing is going to be on the other side. So those benches, the gazebo will be off limits probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and probably be that way for about 1.5 years until the construction is completed. So I want to make you aware of that. We did have some questions from some of the West residents about extending the viewing sites in the courtyard as you come out of the buildings. Those cannot be extended because of various fire codes. You have to have a second means of egress if it's over a certain amount of square footage. So the viewing areas are as large as they can be. So I'm sorry, it was a great question that came up, but we talked to the fire marshal, and what we have is as good as we could get. So sorry that we couldn't do more about that. I will remind people on the Guilford campus and soon to be the West campus, please be respectful of the fencing. Even if the gate's left open, please do not go within the fencing. It can be dangerous, the sighting, trip hazards, things like that. So please be respectful and stay on the public side of the fencing. Parking on the Guilford campus, I am being told that probably sometime early September, we will lose the 40 parking spots that if your back is to Woolman, you're looking at the gazebo to the right, those 40 spots will be probably taken sometime the first part of September, and we will lose those 2 sites for 2 months until they give it back to us, all 40 spots. It'll be a different configuration when it comes back to us, but we will be a little cramped for about 2 months. We do have a parking plan. We have rear view mirror hangers. We're going to do color codes for parking areas. For pretty much residents will have parking spots. Staff, contractors are going to have to park off property. The New Garden Meeting House has been very generous to let us park there as well. So staffing will be able to use the parking garage as well. So more to come on that. At West, parking really is just going to be is more of a allowing us to cut around the loop road. You have to turn right if you want to access the back of the building. You can no longer turn left, and it'll be that way until the Wellness Center opens back up, which will probably be sometime next summer. So a little inconvenience, apologize. and but we'll do the best to get it back as soon as possible. So from a phase one, the board met, the executive finance met yesterday. They did approve financing. We are going to do fixed rate bond financing for the entire phase one, and that is probably going to be issued. We're pretty tight time frame, but looking at issuing that sometime late September, early October. The hope is that some of this bond issuance can be purchased by us if we want to. We've had several residents that were interested in buying some of the Friends Homes bonds. And so as I know more, I will make you aware of that. And actually, I might buy some myself. I think it's a good investment. So I'll tell you more as we learn more. I'm going to switch gears now. I'm going to go to dining. I want to continue to remind you, obviously, what we're having to do with our dining program, and till we are allowed to open our dining room, and even when our dining room opens back up, as we shared, it's going to be different. The buffet concept that we have grown to utilize is going to be not available. We'll be doing table service. We'll probably have limited capacity. But right now, as we continue to serve to your homes, it is not the most ideal. And a lot of times when you have that, you have issues that come up. And what I'll continue to ask for our residents, if you receive a meal that does not meet your expectations, please make them aware so that they can either bring you a substitute or a replacement for the item that was ordered at that time. Don't wait till the next day or a week from now, because really it's when you receive the meal, if it's not meeting your expectations, make them aware so they can correct it at that time. I also want to tell you that we are moving forward with our compostable takeout containers. We are having a trial run with certain residents, both at West and Guilford campus, to make sure it meets the expectations. Understand these are compostable. So what that means is when they come to you, they're not going to hold the food for an extended period of time. And I'm talking about like a day or days, because they're meant to, once they go in the trash, to start degrading immediately. So with that being said, the probably one drawback, well, there's actually two drawbacks. One, they cost more. Two is that they're not meant to be a lot like styrofoam. They're not a long-lasting, because once they get in contact with liquids and things like that, they will start breaking down, which is a good thing. That's why we're buying them. So just be aware there are some pros and cons. What I will tell you is, with the additional cost, we will be passing on the cost of the compostable product to our takeout orders. Now, not during COVID. So we will absorb the cost during COVID, but once we get past COVID, if you do a takeout order or delivery, we will be passing on the cost. And the cost right now, we're still trying to get a handle of it, is about 50 cents to $1 for this. It's significantly more expensive than the good old 8 cents that we were paying for a styrofoam. But just like you, we know styrofoam is not the right solution for the environment. So we wholeheartedly agree with moving to compostable. So hopefully right now we're looking at that being rolled out sometime middle to end of August. I want to share with you the Canteen. We've been talking about the Canteen for a while. The Canteen is really a 24-hour, if you will, grab-and-go kind of convenience store. We are looking at that being put in place August 13th at the Guilford campus and August 20th on the West campus. We hope to have a grand opening, although limited with COVID-19, but excited about that to see how that takes off, and understand that what is being offered in the Canteen will adjust over time as we learn what you, the residents and staff, are looking for. You will be able to use your badge to buy things, and it will show up on your bill. You could also use credit card. It will not accept cash, so be aware of that. So that is forthcoming. Got some good news. We've hired an environmental service director. His name is Daryl Shores, and Daryl will be starting with us on August 10th. I had the opportunity to meet with him over a week ago. I was very impressed with his pedigree. He's quite interesting. He's a landscaper by trade, if you're interested in landscaping, he actually did a lot of work, and a lot of, if you're an ACC fan, he did some work. You might have seen some of his results as far as turf management, things like that. He's also a teacher. He teaches at Alamance Community College. Great personality. I think he's married. He has a young, I think a son, if I said that right. And he's also, I think he's a beekeeper. So he's very interesting. Very excited about having him. I think his personality is going to fit in well. He's has a thirst, knowledge for understanding processes. And I think that's the teacher aspect of him. So very excited, hopefully for you to put a face to a name, but he will be starting with us August 10th. He will be overseeing environmental services for entire Friends Homes, and will be supported by both Bernadette at the West Campus and her team, and then Barbara at the Guilford Campus and her team. Now, with that being said, we're still on go in October to roll out our housekeeping to one housekeeping service cleaning per month per independent living resident as part of your monthly service fee. So looking forward to that. And as my understanding, we're still on go to do that in October, which is just around the corner. Some of you may be aware, but if not, Dorian Edwards, who's been with Friends Homes West, he started out with us as a rec therapist 11 years ago, and has been working as a household coordinator at Friends Homes West for the past several years, has now taken on a new role. He is now Director of Life Enrichment for all of Friends Homes, and his role there is all the activity enrichment coordinators for independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing are going to be rolling up to him as he oversees overall all activities for both campuses, and really trying to ensure that our programming through all levels of care is meeting our expectations and your expectations, and that we're utilizing and taking advantage of our resources to grow our activity program. So very excited to see what happens over the next year to 2 years with Dorian leading the helm. He is actively looking for his replacement as the household coordinator, and once he finds that right person and they are up and running, he will then move full-time into his new role as Director of Life Enrichment. Want to share some things as it relates to voting. Several of us have been a little concerned that you may or may not have known that they were looking at expanding our voting precinct for which we vote at Friends Homes Guilford campus. And with COVID-19, knowing that we have some parking limitations that's forthcoming, we were concerned about how we're going to handle that. Well, we just got news today that I think it's precinct, did I write that down? I did not. The precinct that the expansion that they were going to do is being postponed, at least for this year. So that is great news. So that will not put the burden on that we thought we were going to have. I will continue to encourage early voting as best you can so that we can manage the volume during that time. We do expect, of course, heavy turnout. Hopefully we'll have heavy turnout. But I would like to do a public service announcement. So, you know, if you know me, I like to talk about politics. And there's certain things you're not supposed to talk about. Politics is one of those. And probably this year more than other years, people are very sensitive depending on what side you're on. And people are very passionate. And although I love a good conversation, and I'm talking to myself as well, that we do all of us need to be very respectful of one another and our beliefs. And so be aware that the sensitivity around people's beliefs and passions, and that we need to, although we have the right to our own opinion, we do not need to push our opinions on other people. I share that with you because I've heard some rumblings about people trying to convince people how they're wrong. Probably not the best way of going about things, but just as we go into the voting time, and tensions usually get a little high during this time, let's just be respectful as individuals, as human beings, that we all have a right to our opinion. And what better way to express yourself than vote? So that's my encouragement to you, is to vote. I want to share a little bit about the annual giving campaign. So our annual giving campaign has been going very well. As of today, we're at $65,000 of our $111,000 goal. So again, thank you for all of your support as we continue to raise money to support residents' financial assistance. Know that we'll hit that 111,000 goal and probably exceed it. I'm very confident. But I also want to give a shout out again for the employee appreciation program that is underway both at the West and Guilford campus. I will not lie to you and tell you that with us not meeting, I am concerned that that we might not have the support or the chatter as it relates to employee appreciation program. But please, if of all times, the staff and what they're doing to keep us safe and to work, although we do not accept tips, your generous support of this program means a lot. So thank you for anything and everything that you can do to support those efforts as well. That is, in summary, my overall Friends Homes kind of big picture. What I'm going to do now is spend the last 5 minutes before I'm cut off from my Zoom time is to share with you specific to West and Guilford. And I'll start with West, at Friends Homes West. They are undergoing several projects right now. We are replacing all of our balconies. That started, I think, this week. And we are, once that is done, we'll be doing some pressure washing. And we will also come back and be painting the floors, the balcony floors. So be aware of that. Hopefully the balconies that project of replacing them will be done in the next 4 to 5 weeks. And then we'll come back and work on painting the floors. They're also currently doing the duct cleaning in the units. That is a systematic, the process is moving. I've had several people say, what if I'm not there? You have an option of allowing them to come in your apartment, or they will just keep moving on. They're keeping a list of the apartments they have not done. When they're completed, then we'll have to schedule those to come back and do that. But ideally, if they're coming to your apartment, if you can be there, one of the ways we got the pricing that we received is we told them we'll do everything in our power to make it as convenient for them as possible so they can be as efficient, get in, do their jobs versus trying to work around a lot of different schedules. We were hopeful that with COVID-19, most people are at home, but in some cases that's not the case. But the goal is to have all those units cleaned by the end of September, and there's 175 units, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So thank you for working with us as we try to get those ductworks cleaned. HVAC at West, for those residents, as you know, we've been having some issues with our system. I will tell you, this system is not like your system at home, and it's a pretty impressive 25-year-old system. We've had some issues, and when it goes down, we're doing everything in our power to get it back up and running. We've had issues when we've had to bleed the lines, air gets in the lines, does not do very well. It stops the system up. So one of the things that we had fixed 2 weeks ago failed, and the company that installed it is making it right. They're replacing it. But what I want to share with you is one of the benefits of being here is that when you do have a situation is that we're going to fix it. And it's not being band-aided. We're not being cheap on how we do things. We're bringing in the experts to help us make sure that we keep things running as efficiently and as smoothly as possible. But thank you for your patience. Nobody likes to be without heat or air. We're trying to now, once we have a situation, is put out a calling tree. But the calling tree, out of respect for people's schedules, goes out between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So if something goes out at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're not putting a calling tree out at that time. If you have multiple people calling the front desk or the security, understand there's only one person answering the phone. So if they can't answer the phone quickly, that's the reason why, because they're addressing need. At all times, if you have an emergency that you think you're having a life event, call 911, pull your emergency pull cord. Okay, please don't just call the front desk or call security. If you're having a life emergency, you call 911 and you pull your emergency pull cord. Appreciate your help with that as well. On the Friends Homes Guilford campus, a couple things that we're working on. The emergency call system that's being put in place should be wrapping up. One of the things we're doing different there is we're putting a check-in system where if you so choose, you can be part of a program that every 24 hours you will, it's really literally pushing a button that we will monitor. And if that button is not pushed within a certain time frame, let's say between 6 a.m. and say 12 p.m., we will come and physically check on you. It's totally voluntary, so you don't have to feel like it's something you have to do, but that is part of the new emergency call system that we're putting in place at the Guilford campus. So very excited about that. One of the things we're looking at doing as part of our budget for next year is we're going to be removing the solar panels off of the Fox and Woolman buildings. That will be taking place, and we're looking at replacing the roof both on Woolman as well as Fox. The budget has not been approved, but we are looking at replacing both of those roofs, and we're looking at painting the outside of the Woolman building. So we're going to be getting some information together. We'll be pulling together a house committee as we look at color coordination. The house committee is made up of residents as we try to pick a new color for the Woolman building. Again, it has to be approved. I think the roof and painting, you're probably looking at somewhere close to $400,000. So that needs to be approved through the budget process. But I want to make you aware that is something that we are looking at for the Guilford campus. As always, appreciate you. I appreciate you as residents. I appreciate the sacrifices that you're making, that we're all making during this time of COVID-19. Rest assured that we will get through this and we will come out stronger on the other side. Let's continue to pull together in prayer, but also in verbal support, that together we will get through this. Thank you for everything. As I sign off, as always, if you have any questions, concerns, please reach out, ask us, talk to us, Don and Missy, Linda Brashaw at the West Campus, Susie over at the Guilford campus, myself. From me to you, thank you, and stay safe.